This is The Great Outdoors with Jason White, exploring the great outdoors in Pennsylvania and beyond. Brought to you by the Mariana Outdoorsmen Association and by Wild Acres Farm, Fishery, and Regulated Hunting Grounds. Now, The Great Outdoors with Jason White.
Hello, friends. I'm Jason White. Welcome to The Great Outdoors. I hope everybody's doing well, and looking at the week ahead, I certainly wish everyone nothing but a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, wishing you and your families absolutely nothing but the best. But I want to give a special thanks to our sponsors, the Mariana Outdoorsmen Association. If you'd like to join the Mariana Outdoorsmen Association, go to marianaoutdoors.com. Wild Acres Farm, Fishery, and Regulated Hunting Grounds. If you're looking to book an upland bird hunt, a free-ranging wild white-tailed deer hunt, and also free-ranging wild turkey hunt, please check out 10mileco.org, which stands for 10 Mile Creek Outfitters. That is who manages Wild Acres Farm. All free-range hunts, no fence, absolutely no fence, or you can call 724-579-0924 to book a hunt in any capacity. So certainly a great opportunity. And last but not least, Washington County Tourism and Promotion Agency. Just want to say thank you so much, and please visit Washington County. Looking ahead, just some upcoming events for the Mariana Outdoorsmen Association. Friday, January 5th, it's going to be the January trout stocking. Actually, the MOA this year is going to be starting a tagged fish program. So going to kind of be doing it similar. I guess it's somewhat similar to how they stock the yauk. Similar premise. But basically, there'll be tagged fish throughout, the whole spring that people can turn in tags. So if anybody's ever interested about that or has any questions, you can obviously reach out to us at Mariana Outdoorsman Association at Facebook, or you can message our website, also at marianaoutdoors.com, or always can call us, 724-579-0924. Saturday, January 6th, 10 a.m., we're going to be hosting a tour and an open house. So if anybody is interested about our facilities or things that we have going on, or just, maybe somebody just wants a refresher of where amenities are, please come check us out. That'll be at 10 a.m. We'll be meeting at Wild Acres Farm, 1997 Morey Road, Clarksville, Pennsylvania, 15322. And again, that's at 10 a.m. on January the 6th. Love to have you. We're always looking for new members, new faces, and obviously those are already members. Happy to have you as well. And certainly, like I said, if you just want to come have a cup of coffee and spend some time with us and ask questions, and we will be happy to answer, please let us know. Saturday, January the 13th, we're having a fundraiser continental hunt. There are still slots available. We just kind of expanded the hunt now, so we're going to be having multiple groups that day. Continental and or also known as European hunts, tower shoots, whatever you want to know them as. But yeah, that'll be the 13th of January. You do not need a Pennsylvania hunting license, and you do not need actually a pheasant stamp. It'll be a 10 bird per person allocation. And if anybody has any questions about that, or if you'd like to register, you can go to marianaoutdoors.com, and also, again, call us at 724-579-0924. Looking ahead, in the month of January, it is the 18th, 19th, and 20th. That's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We will be at the Mount Hope, Ohio Outdoor Show, which is also known as the Eastern Ohio Sportsman Show. Again, that's at the Mount Hope. It's their convention center. If you've never been out there, it's a pretty neat place, pretty cool experience. If you've never been to Mount Hope and that whole area, it's a very dense, heavily populated Amish community. If you never got to experience it, it's very cool. Very, very unique place, and I enjoy going to that show. It's a lot of heavy traffic, a lot of tremendous vendors. So if you're available and free, Thursday the 18th, Friday the 19th, or Saturday the 20th. We would certainly love to see you at the Mount Hope Convention Center at the Eastern Ohio Sportsman Show. We'll be there from open till close. But again, love to see you there. I'll be there. We'll have other folks from the MOA and also Wild Acres Farm there answering any questions, passing out information. But again, happy to have you. Look forward to seeing everybody. But that'll be at the Mount Hope Convention Center. And then just kind of looking ahead, February, March, April, and May, we'll be having our monthly trout stockings. So if anybody wants to come out to those, they'll be on our Facebook page, MarianaOutdoors.com. Also, for those that have joined or chamber members that we've, that we're associated with, we send out a weekly or almost a bi-weekly now email. So please make sure you check your emails. I know sometimes it goes into that spam folder, but check your emails because we've got a lot of great information, especially even these shows, because we upload our radio shows into YouTube, Spotify, Anchor Radio, just to have other ways to share, not only what we have going on, but also the topics that we're discussing, the things that we're raising awareness to, and really hope that, check that email. Please, please, please. Looking ahead, though, in the springtime, Friday, May 3rd, Saturday, May 4th, it's going to be the Pennsylvania Trout Classic. If anybody wants any information about this, we actually have the event on Facebook, and again, it'll also be on our website. But that is going to be a 2-day trout tournament. It'll be $120 per person, 2-day tournament. And basically, it's going to be on all of our trout stock streams, and we're going to be doing the tagged fish for that. Which is really convenient because one thing I've learned over the years is obviously the less you can handle the fish, the better. And we already implement, barbless and or pinched hooks. That's a standard process that we use. We automatically use the fishing nets, hemostats, forceps. But excuse me. When it comes to fish tags, I'm sure a lot of people have seen the trout fish have seen like the tags on the gills or even on the fins with the brass tags. Well, the tags that we use, they're very easy to use. It almost looks like a toothpick, and it's in the back dorsal fin of the fish. And basically, all you have to do is take a pair of tweezers and clip it off. We have the fish pre-weighed, pre-measured before they ever come, so we kind of have a nice ongoing list before people ever come. So whenever they turn in the tag, we already have the information. So we don't got to mess with scales. We don't have to mess with tape measures. It just makes life a lot easier for everybody involved, and it's a much more efficient and effective method. So hope to see everybody for that 2-day event. Sunrise, we'll be cracking that off on May the 3rd, and it'll go through May the 4th till 5 p.m. Happy to have everybody. Look forward to seeing everyone. But if you haven't been to the MOA fishing, you're really missing out. Tremendous fishery, and we'd love to have you. That being said, I said last week I wanted to touch base, or 2 weeks ago rather, that I wanted to talk about beavers, trapping, the impacts on streams and waterways, etc. And I know for the listeners out there that have listened to my shows, I've talked a lot about the habitat work we've done on a stream called Daniel's Run. And over the past roughly year, we had some beavers that moved in. And I have been extremely educated about in the past year as to the impacts on streams and waterways that beavers can have. I was unaware. I was honestly very ignorant to the topic. And seeing it firsthand, you want to talk about a crash course, how a small little mammal, 20 to 40 pounds can have such a huge and tremendous impact on a stream and waterway. That being said, we've been installing what's called rock crossveins. Basically, they're rock structures that you build to create more current in the center of the stream. It basically is meant to neck down the water of the flow to create more flow, to create more velocity, to create more oxygen in the center of the stream. Also, you get a raised pool above, and it creates a cascading effect down below, which also churns out a pool, which is obviously great for the fish. That being said, our issue came into play when the Beavers decided to go and just blockade these deflectors, these rock cross veins rather, and we have conditions now where some of these areas are dammed nearly 4 foot high. And why that's such a problem is basically it stops the water flow as far as the velocity creation. It really, from that point upstream, it's almost like stagnant, which creates a problem. So in addition to that, you start getting sticks and debris from these beavers, because what happens is say you have a high water event. I've literally watched this happen. I recorded it the one day, but it almost becomes like a giant, we'll call it a snag pile. And basically what will happen is it'll all let loose at one particular time. And it just, it leaves our property, but creates a problem for somebody else downstream, which is an issue. That being said, beyond all of this, these beavers are cutting trees down that are legitimately, I would say the biggest one I've seen them cut down was probably around 12 to 16-inch diameter. Rather impressive. I've never myself, again, witnessed the destruction of what they do and what they're willing to do, but they are certainly a very impressive animal. But the amount of destruction that I've seen from trees being cut down, good habitat on land being destroyed, debris just being basically thrown into the stream, it's somewhat turned into I don't want to call it a nightmare, but a little bit of a nightmare scenario for us in the capacity that we have to deal with it. And I say this because it's illegal in the state of Pennsylvania to touch a dam, to touch a beaver hut. It's also illegal to trap in the vicinity of a dam and a beaver hut. Certainly I value and appreciate all wildlife in all capacities, but if everybody got to see how bad it truly is and what the destruction can be, it's honestly a little bit of a nightmare. I must say, a little bit of a nightmare. And it would be tremendous to have cooperation and collaboration from the Pennsylvania Game Commission, but I've had 2 meetings about the habitat of the stream and the goals of what we're doing, and it's just it is. You would think that our government would be here to be supportive, to work together towards common goals. And one thing I've learned is that that's not the case. When you get these dead stares from folks within agencies, basically with no solutions to said problems and no resolutions to our collective issues, even as a society, it starts raising questions as to what people's modus operandi are or what people's agendas are. But beavers, one would think, would be something that you could go to the Game Commission and have a conversation and they respond intelligently rather than look at you with a mute stare. But I can assure everyone out there that on 2 occasions, that's exactly what I've dealt with. And it's a perplexing dynamic, and I think that I don't know how we've become so astray as a society. I really do. I think it's the bureaucracy of Pennsylvania, and I'll even go to the federal government, has created such a negative not only living but working dynamic that's very bad. When people have problems and they're striving for solutions, At least that's what I always have felt, that the government was there to not only be supportive, but also clearly to uphold and enforce laws, not to pick and choose and decide when they should or shouldn't support things or uphold things. But these beavers are a great little small speck of sand in the sphere of life, as to how something so small can snowball into something much bigger. But we as a sporting community are really being led astray by the Pennsylvania Game Commission. And I'm even going to say the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. And I say that not as an insulting thing to anybody, because I don't want anybody to feel insulted. But we're not, I hear people all the time with problems and they're longing for solutions. I'll kind of switch gears from beavers, because clearly that's a problem and I'm looking for a solution. Clearly I got to take care of things ourselves, but I digress. I get a call yesterday from a sporting club in Washington County, Pennsylvania, and they're majorly concerned about the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission, I guess, approached them about trout stocking permits, about basically that you have to now, in 2024, submit these permits for before you're allowed to stock trout. Well, a couple red glaring issues here, just so everybody knows. When you order fish and you order them by the pound, you do not know how many fish you're going to be ordering in advance. So, for example, if I go and order, let's just say I order $5,000 worth of trout from Laurel Hill Trout Farm, and I say, well, I would like a variety of browns, brooks, and rainbows. Basically, they're scooping them up with a net. They're weighing the net. It's a pretty accurate, but also a rough way of doing it. But it makes it easier on them, so they're not literally hand counting every fish to figure out how they're doing things, and not having to measure by the inch on every fish. So it's an easier method for them, and doesn't bother us at all. Whenever on the buying side of things, I'm very, very happy and pleased with everything that's been provided to us. But that being said, when the fish arrive, a lot of that isn't determined as far as fish counts until maybe a day or even two before the order is fulfilled. So when you're going to go and you are going to stock fish, and you're now being asked or required to do I don't know if it's 30 or 60 day notice for this permit, you don't know the numbers. And here's the kicker. I know this from past experiences. Okay, say you go and say, oh, well, we're going to stock however many browns, however many brooks, however many, let's just say palominos. But now we come to a situation where a day before, the numbers have tweaked because of just what availability. You're setting yourselves up for getting a citation from the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. And I can assure you, I don't want to deal with any more paper permits. Anybody out there that has dealt with the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission or the Game Commission, or for that matter, the Department of Environmental Protection, or even for that matter, conservation districts, paper permitting is a debacle, and it's completely and utterly ridiculous. It's very sad, but true. It's a very real way that our government works. We can do everything electronically in life, but when it comes to permitting, it seems that, in many capacities, we have these layers and layers and layers of paperwork. And with paperwork comes emails, with paperwork comes things have to be printed, with paperwork comes faxing and scanning, and you get my drift. We're out of touch. And now Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission wants us to add another layer. They want to put burdens on people that are trying to do good things for our community. And you have to ask yourself this question, well, why do they want to know this information? Well, for me, there's a simple solution here. When the hatcheries, which are state certified anyways, whenever they stock fish or deliver fish, it's very simple. Why can't they just submit, monthly or quarterly or whatever's feasible, but send those reports to the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission? That's a simple method. They have all the logs, all the records. So what's the big deal? Here's all of our logs for the month of, for example, the month of December. January rolls around, submit everything, your business for the prior month. If that's the way that's, achievable for a business. I don't want to speak on their behalves. But that being said, what's going to happen with enforcement? What's going to happen with somebody doesn't realize this and they're not properly notified? Well, who's going to tell somebody? These are sincere concerns. I'm 1,000% against this whole proposition and an idea. Beyond that, even, let me say this. Okay, you got a private section of water running through your property. And you want to stock trout on it. Okay, now you have to have this permit. Beyond that, what is crazy is, let's say, let's just say hypothetically this section, you open it up to the public. The Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission is not going to acknowledge that you publicly stock that. What do I mean? So you go on the website. The only thing you're going to see on the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission's website is where the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission stocks. But, there's a but here, they want you to provide information where you privately are stocking, even if it's open to the public. They want all these details, all this information, but beyond that, they also do not want to promote you, but they want to mandate and require that every person at your private property or public property has a Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission fishing license. Now, I want you to really digest and think about that from a logical perspective. It's rather irrational and ignorant of a decision to not promote people that are buying fish at fish farms in Pennsylvania, people that are investing money and raising money and then putting said fish into the stream and waterway. Whether that property is private and you have to pay a fee or a day pass or whatever the words are, or if it is public, at the end of the day, the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission is going to get fishing license sales by people going there. So if anybody has any common sense knowledge on this topic, and you look at it and you really think about it, the Fish and Boat Commission, it is in their best interest to promote these private/public entities that are giving these efforts to stock fish. Why would you not want to acknowledge the efforts, the charitable efforts, the efforts of sportsmen, the countless efforts to just improve the community? Why would you not want to acknowledge this? And I think it's a troubling notion that our bureaucracy is not wanting to promote the efforts of people. It seems extremely counterproductive to the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission's mission. It's counterproductive to those that support, clearly, fishing. It's counterproductive. This concept of these fishing permits are counterproductive and create more red tape, more bureaucracy. They create more opportunities for somebody to write you a ticket and a fine. All this is a way to set the stage. And here's the question is who's behind this? What's the reason? What's the rationale? Why do they want this information? Are there streams where there's illegal fish being stocked? Well, guess what, folks? You're not allowed to put a shark in a waterway in Pennsylvania. It's illegal. There are species that are defined that are not allowed to be stocked. So what's the reason? Are there fish coming from fish hatcheries that are diseased? Well, I can tell you that the fish already have to be inspected and have to meet health requirements by the Department of Agriculture in the state of Pennsylvania. So it can't be that. They already are doing things to make things healthy for a healthy product. So you now have to say, well, is there somebody with an agenda? Is there an organization that has wrapped its octopus tentacles around the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission? I'm not going to say who that entity or organization is, but if you go and do a little bit of research as far as what group is acknowledged by the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission on their website, what groups are people on the boards affiliated, the commissioners, who's affiliated to what, I think you're pretty well going to figure it out rather quickly. A little Google search will narrow down this. But I think it's a little homework assignment for everybody out there, because I have an extreme issue with any group, organization, or entity pushing their own agenda via the commissioners of the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. I don't care if this is applicable to anything. These organizations and entities need to do the right things for fishing in Pennsylvania, for the environment of Pennsylvania, for conservation of Pennsylvania, to grow business, for educational purposes. I can go on and on and on with these common sense, one-liners that everybody's well aware of what these folks are supposed to be doing. But when you allow special interest octopus tentacles to wrap around people that are making decisions and allow people to infiltrate like a splinter cell, and trust me, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm speaking about what I'm speaking about based upon facts. So, this is point blank the truth. When you have special interest groups that have infiltrated the commissioners of the Fish Commission, of the Game Commission, you have to start looking in the mirror as to, okay, folks, how are we going to fix this? I can tell you one of the problems is the Board of Commissioners lacks anybody from the agricultural sector that really is a voice for the agricultural sector. I sincerely believe this. This is my personal view. You have people in the bureaucracy making these, again, rules and regulations about fish hatcheries, rules and regulations about fish stockings, rules and regulations about hunting and fishing clubs that impacts agriculture. But yet, who that is making these rules and regulations has any knowledge, care, concern about what they're even proposing? Do they understand the dynamics of what they're proposing? And the simple and utter answer is no, they do not. Nor do I honestly think they really care. Because the things that I've seen, the changes that need to be made by the Fish and Boat Commission and also the Pennsylvania Game Commission, these are not humongous ideas. These are not ground-shifting or ground-breaking monumental thoughts. These are simply somebody that cares, using their eyes and their ears, and then using that knowledge to then invoke change. But when you'll become a 30-year sitting commissioner, when you become somebody that is so entrenched into the bureaucracy of your own interests and ideologies, and there's no new ideas, there's no openness to change, this is what you get. This is what you get. I cannot express how many Facebook pages and Facebook groups that I kind of I like to just read the comments. And the amount of hunters that I've seen from just public comment about the shortage of hunters hunting in Pennsylvania now. The first couple of days there was some decent action. But after that, I don't want to call it code silent, but it was like a drop off. And that's scary. That is scary for so many reasons. That is scary for the heritage of Pennsylvania. That is scary for the economy. Gun sales, ammunition sales, clothing sales, all your sporting goods stores, it's terrible for them. It's terrible for your mom and pop stores, restaurants, etc. I could go on and on and on. Terrible for education. Terrible for mentorship of our youth. It's terrible for the next generation that's upcoming. You start looking at this exponentially, and if we don't acknowledge that we have problems here, even with getting and engaging our youth and engaging other people to get in the outdoors, we have a major problem. And I think, and I personally feel, based upon the facts, that many people are so tired and beat down and wore down by the bureaucratic decision making of the Game Commission, of the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission, of the Department of Environmental Protection. I mean, it's pretty bad even with the DEP when that acronym to many people is Don't Expect Protection. And honestly, to this day, I now truly believe this. And I think it's sad that we've gotten into a point in society in Pennsylvania that we've lost faith in our institutions. That the Fish Commission is now, I hate to say it, well, let me say this. The executive director of the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission is a tremendous man. Brian, I really like him. He's a great executive director. I do not know the Game Commission director, but what I do know is that these people are not the final decision makers. You have board of commissioners for both entities, and then you have the bureaucracy. And that is where most of the maneuvering, that is where most of the changes come from, because these are the people, especially the boards, that listen to these things, that listen to these the topics, discussions, recommendations of the bureaucrats. And then that's how something in turn, just like this fishing proposal for the trout stocking. Well, who recommended it and why? I think everybody deserves to know that, don't you? I mean, we live in an open and transparent government. At least that's what I thought it was. We grant our Congress, our state legislature, House, Senate, and then obviously signed off by the governor. We have a commission that grants the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission and Pennsylvania Commission, Game Commission authorities over the things that they are allowed to enforce, regulate, conservation, habitat, etc. It's scary. Honestly, I am a little beyond concerned. I am sickened by what is being suggested out of these agencies, the policies therein, the archaic acts, things just like the a paper permit, so it's, I don't know. It's a very sad dynamic that I'm even having to talk to everybody and describe these situations, from something as simple as solutions for people, farmers, for sporting community, with beavers. Doesn't seem like a big idea, really isn't, but God forbid you bring it up and ask for help to how can we address this. Well, we're going to look at you and stare at you in the face like you basically have a third eye on your forehead. Or for that matter, permits. Let's just, as the old saying goes, throw another shrimp on the bobby. Let's just give somebody else another layer of crap that they have to deal with. Well, there comes a time, and I said this to the person that I spoke to from that Washington County hunting and fishing club. I said, there comes a time when you have to defend yourselves. And when I say defend yourselves, I mean intelligently. I don't mean that in a physical manner. I mean that in an intelligent manner, in the capacities of when these bureaucratic folks and when individuals are putting out these crazy ideas, policies that hurt society, it's our obligation to raise awareness to those ideas, to talk about them, to discuss them, and to have a open dialogue as far as how we can fix it. Because if I sit here today and don't talk to you about it, many of you might not even know it's happening. Many might not know that this cancer is spreading throughout the state of Pennsylvania. And I hope that you will take the time to do those Google searches to see who has, interests within these different agencies. But there's a lot for us to talk about and discuss. But instead of identifying the moral of today's story is, instead of us collectively heading forward in a positive direction, identifying solutions. And I think that most citizens of Pennsylvania feel this way. The bureaucracy and the government are in a place of, let's add another layer, let's add another burden, let's ignore the concerns and the solutions therein. And I think that at the heart of it all is sad. I think that's sad. I think that's disgusting. I think it's an injustice and a travesty to everyone in Pennsylvania. But stay tuned, because, I mean, as I progress through my journey in life, I'm sure that I will continue to expand and extrapolate, even today, about little ideas, little things that we need for, I would say, solutions to our collective problems. But, we're just really being, I hate to say it, but those that we rely on for partnerships, for business relationships within the state government have really led us astray. And I'm very saddened about especially this idea of these fishing permits, because they are an injustice, a travesty, and utter insult to every organization in the state of Pennsylvania, in my professional and my humble opinion. But that being said, I just want to go back over, as I close, I want to go back over the events for the Mariana Outdoorsman Association one more time, because, as always, we have an open door policy, and we would love to have you at any and all of our events, and I cannot stress this enough. But looking ahead to the future, January 1st, obviously the new year, but that's when MOA memberships for 2024 begin. Runs on a calendar year. If you would like to join, the books are open. You can go to MarianaOutdoors.com. Again, MarianaOutdoors.com. A lot of great information on that website about what we do, what we're about, what our goals are, what we're trying to achieve. And then beyond that, you can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I also personally put up stuff on Twitter, LinkedIn, and then we have the Spotify and the Anchor Radio, which we re-air and share, these shows. Friday, January 5th, is the January trout stocking. We meet at 3 p.m. at Wild Acres Farm, 1997 Maury Road, Clarksville, Pennsylvania, 15322. Again, 3 p.m., January the 5th. That's a Friday. And that's 1997 Maury Road, Clarksville, Pennsylvania, 15322. Saturday, January 6th, 10 a.m., we're going to be doing a tour and an open house. Really would love to have everybody. We're going to be touring our facilities, answering any questions, showing people around. So if you'd like to come check it out, whether you're not a member or even if you are a member and you just need a little bit of a refresher, or if you got any specific questions, happy to have you. Again, 1997 Maury Road, Clarksville, Pennsylvania, 15322. Saturday, January the 13th, it is a continental pheasant hunt. Love to see you. You do not need a Pennsylvania hunting license. You do not need a Pennsylvania pheasant stamp. Orange vest, orange hat, safety glasses. Highly recommend hearing protection. Going to need lots of ammunition and certainly dressed to be out in the field. But it's an awesome time, great experience. If you've never seen a continental or a European hunt, again, Google's a great little tool. Check that out. There's a lot of great videos online that kind of represent and show you what it's all about. And then February, March, April, May, we're going to be doing our monthly trout stockings. Typically, those are the first Friday of every month. But, excuse me, as always, just follow us on Facebook at Mariana Outdoorsman Association. All of our events are there. Also, please check your email. We're always sending out updates about events and ongoing, topics of discussion. And then I'm always trying to repeat and reiterate everything on the radio show and on our podcast. Friday, May 3rd, Friday, May 4th, it's the PA Trout Classic. It's the first time we're doing this. We've done other fishing tournaments, but I'm really excited about this because this is a 2-day event. First day on Friday the 3rd, it'll be from sunrise to sunset. And then on Saturday, it's from sunrise till 5 o'clock. So even if you can only fish for a few hours, or maybe you just want to do half a day both days, you can do that. You're not obligated to be there the full time, but it'll operate on a tag system. So we'll be doing tagged fish, and all you're going to be doing is cutting off the tag, turning the tags in. The fish are pre-weighed, pre-measured, etc. So there's really not a need or a concern to to be worried about any of that. That being said, Wild Acres Farm, we have upland bird hunts available the rest of December, January, February, March. If you'd like to book a hunt and you've never done that, or if you'd like to, please check us out, 10mileco.org, or you can call us at 724-579-0924. Again, 10mileco.org, or you can go to 724-579-0924 on your cell phone and give us a call, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have, get you a good hunt booked, and I'm sure you'll have an awesome time. But looking ahead for next spring and fall, we have turkey hunts available. We have free-ranging deer hunts available. We have no fences in any capacity. And Wild Acres Farm is our main area, but we have other farms that are leased. 10 Mile Creek Outfitters manages everything. So if you'd like to book a wild turkey hunt, wild whitetail deer hunt, again, 724-579-0924, and check us out on our website, 10mileco.org. But on behalf of the Mariana Outdoorsman Association, Wild Acres Farm, Washington County, I just want to thank everybody. And until next week, I just want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, and God bless. Thank you.